Commission has no integrity. The Integrity Commission has no integrity. The Integrity Commission is corrupt.
It is sinful. When a black
The Integrity Commission is corrupt. The Integrity Commission has no integrity.
They are not impartial.
They are not impartial. And they should be disbanded.
And they can't be working for a white UK government. It is unfair to our country.
The Integrity Commission is corrupt.
Hi everyone, Karen Cecilia here. If I sound a little tired, it's because I am. I just want to set out this into blogosphere so that there is an understanding between us and the public as to what we did Thursday morning in our protest at the IC. I did not want it to be a loud, vociferous, well-prepared, well-planned, orchestrated protest with thousands of people. In fact, it was my intent to go there alone. It was. But when we were in Manchester on Tuesday, on our way back in, is when I told Princess and Michelle that this is my intent. And I said to them, I am going to the IC tomorrow morning. So that's Wednesday I told them. And I said, I'm going to the IC Thursday morning. And Michelle said, where are you going to do? You're going to seek a meeting? I said, no. I'm going to stand on the stairs of the IC and I'm going to protest the IC. And I'm going to carry placards. The car was quiet. And I said to both of them, if you don't want to come, you can come. But if you can come and don't participate, or you cannot come, full the choice. And of course, Princess said she's coming. Michelle said she will do the videotaping. And we said, all right, so we're on. And so we went. I never meant it for it to be a loud thing. I think that 3 people, or 2 or 3 people, can carry the message loud and clear to the Integrity Commission much more effective than 3,000 could. I believe that we do have one of those microphone thing, what them call it, I don't remember what them call it. But we do have one of those. I decided not to carry that either. I want our voices to be heard loud and clear, although, we don't know, it was a little bit jumbled in terms of how we broadcasted it. But my intent was just that, to let Justice Beswick understand that there are some of us here in Jamaica who now understands what their power is and the absolute and unchecked power that they have and how they have been abusing that absolute unchecked power. I just dawned on the Jamaican people over a period of time because of that unchecked power, because it is absolute power and unchecked power. The devil himself lives there because the devil himself wants to be involved in something that there are no checks and balances in that. So that's where he's going to sit down and just make a lot of mischief out of that, because him looking at a whole bunch of people with this absolute power and him just figure that out they say, I'm going to sit down. And that's where the devil is. And that unchecked power is now what has basically revealed their operation internally for the last 2 years. It is that unchecked power that let them feel like they could just do as they please and act in any which way they choose to act, and then nobody would buck them, and nobody would say, what the hell? What is that? Nobody. It is that unchecked power. They've had it, and they have been wielding it and using it very effectively, God knows to what ends. But finally, because the devil recognized that there is unchecked power in this place, and him sit down in there, him decide to make some mischief. So like the good devil that he is, he caused them to make a lot of mistakes. The first was Greg Christie talking about ask the government. There was him being all cockety and ugly with him big bulldog face saying, ask the government, because he has unchecked power. And nobody can chat to him because his power is unchecked. and he has absolute power and he can do what he pleases. And that is what they have been doing, for 6 years or thereabouts, and nobody can chat to him. So that's the first move the devil made, because he has been sitting down there watching them. The second move the devil made was have them start doing a lot of things in collaboration with Mark Golding and Dayton Campbell and the Rise United grouping and Peter Bunting. And so as a result of that unchecked absolute power and the devil being down there figuring out ways and means to make mischief, the entire apple cart got rotten and turned over, and now we are onto them. So I thought that after my 15-page letter to Justice Beswick, and the live that I did last Tuesday, I made it very clear that to Justice Beswick, that as a citizen of this country, and there are hundreds and thousands of us out here that feels the same way that I do, that that unchecked absolute power has done enormous damage to the credibility of our country, and has therefore rendered the Integrity Commission as a commission that is corrupt, because they use that unchecked power to corrupt themselves, and it is now exposed to the public because the devil was in there playing footsie with the whole of them. So that is what happened, and I thought that this is the move. For those of you who don't understand warfare, let me explain a little bit of this for you about warfare, why I did not want a loud noise, why I did not want no whole of people down there. I didn't want the political involvement in it. I didn't want the colors dynamics in it. I didn't want other people to come talk about other things in it. So I thought that this is going to be a one-woman show, but it turned out to be a three-woman show. And I didn't want all of that, because in spite of the fact that they have been caught with their pants down and them, all of them exposed now as corrupt people, I still want to maintain a level of respect for the idea of an integrity body. Not them, certainly not this lot, but I still want to express, to keep, a level of respect for the idea of a corruption, an anti-corruption body. And so therefore I didn't want to go around there with a whole crowd of people, but them feel like I could come down there to beat them up and burn down the place and all of that, because that is not the way that we're going to do this. That is not the way we're going to do this, burn down the place and beat up nobody. Nobody's going to do that. All right, so I decided that this first part of the war, when Obama them decided, when they found Osama bin Laden and they had him positively ID'd in that place, in that house over there in Afghanistan, when they had him positively ID'd and they were positive that is him, and the first plan was the one that was successful. The first plan was two helicopters. One did crash, two helicopters with two teams of 5 persons each. One crashed, about 4 of them left back in the one that crashed. So it ended up that one helicopter and a team of 6 persons went in to get bin Laden. Now, I don't want anybody to believe, and nobody should ever believe, that that was the only plan. That was the first plan, a quiet, getting him assassination type thing. We get him, we find him, we go to the cave for him, we point him out, we make sure we bring the DNA thing, we have him line up, we take the picture, we shoot him, we carry him out to sea, we bury, we videotape everything, shoot him, carry him out to sea, bury him, and head back home. That was the first plan. And that was a plan that was successful. Had that plan failed, I have no doubt in my mind that there would have been a plan B, which probably would have included a whole barrage of mortar and the whole building, flatten the building and then dig out him body or something. But there must have been plan B and plan C and plan D and plan E, but there was a plan. It's the same thing with politics, or it's the same thing with this. Certainly, this is my plan in dealing with the IC. There are different levels of plan, and there are different levels on which we are going to approach dealing with the IC, and how these people have corrupted a good intention and now have made it into a national disgrace. And it is going to be up to the citizenry to fix it. And that's us, ladies and gentlemen. That citizenry is us. The politicians now have more integrity than the Integrity Commission. Truthfully. This morning we mentioned about the ECJ, which is filled up with politicians. And we have not had any such problem with the ECJ as we have had with the Integrity Commission. And these are politicians. And that is where we came to the conclusion that politicians now have more integrity than the Integrity Commission. So I wanted to establish that respect and keep it at the level that I wanted it to be kept at. For now, that is plan A. That is just for now. But there will never be a plan, ever, that includes burning down the building and licking the body and causing a war. And there will never be one of that. At least not any that I will be involved in. So I want to assure everybody that there will be no violent, rude, disrespectful plan regarding the IC. The plan is a simple one. And plan A went fine on Thursday morning. That was the first tentacle of the plan. I'm not going to reveal what the second and the third tentacle of the plan is going to be. But I want to make it clear to everybody that this was not meant to be something to make noise and create excitement and stop traffic. And because the message would have been lost in that. And I want the message to be absolutely clear to Justice Beswick and Mr. Grace Christie and Kevin Stevenson and Mr. Ronif Lawrence. I want the message to be very clear to them that we are not going to sit around as citizens and allow this to continue to downgrade our country and make us look stupid. Because we are not stupid people, right? We learn our lessons and we fix ourselves, and we are now better off for it. So that was basically what the decision was, and we went. There's always a saying, and I hear you. I thank you all for the accolades and the big up and the respect and all of that. And I want to let you know that, and I've told you this before, I think you know, that I am a great believer in the universe's grand plan, whatever that grand plan is. I know there is one, and I'm a great believer in that grand plan. But I also want you to let you know that courage is not the absence of fear. Somebody said that. And it's because of fear why people should find courage. And it is my fear that should this unchecked power in the Integrity Commission continues to be unchecked and absolute, it is my fear that we are headed into a zone where we probably will not be able to dig ourselves out of for a next decade or two. So my courage is not a result of me being brave. My courage is as a result of my own fears about all that could happen and that this IC could do what they needed to do because their job is to nasty up the Prime Minister and create confusion and give Mark Golding an easy path to become Prime Minister, because Mark Golding has never wanted the path where he has to talk to the voters and explain to the voters what it is about and produce something to offer the voters and ask them to vote for him. That was never his plan. His plan it was to use any means necessary to find a shortcut to Jamaica House. And the IC, it is becoming clear now, has been his book of pathways to Jamaica House. So he wrote this book of pathways long time, and he decided to collect on it, and Peter Bunting is there to back him up and to put in people like Ronif. And that is basically some of the things that we want to deal with. But in spite of all of that, I appreciate everything that you said in terms of what we are about. And we are not done. It was important to go to the IC building this morning. I'm going to tell you a few things that transpired this morning. First, I knew that they were going to call the police and the entire security apparatus of the IC. And that's one of the reasons why we never need a whole heap of people. To minimize that look. that look of whole heap of police and that look of a whole heap of private security guardsman and king alarm and whatever they are, that look would have taken away everything that we needed to get done this morning. And so that look was minimized because we did not follow that path. Did they call their security? They did. Greg Christie called his security apparatus. They came. Some of them was up on the landing behind us. No fuss, them park them vehicle. Them sisters just us and nobody can't stop us from talk and all the rest of it. And many of them was cheering us on and giving us thumbs up and quietly doing them like a thing behind the scenes in terms of support for the arguments we were putting forward. We also knew that they would call the police. And they did. And a police jeep turn up, wind down them glass, look at us and say and look to themselves and at the look of, well, this don't look like this going to be anything that nobody should be worried about, and they drove off. So that was that in terms of security, pardon me, and the police themselves. The staff and people who were going in and out of the building, particularly people who work in the building, were treated with respect. We never put the camera on them because they never want the camera on them. So Michelle was very careful about that, and we treated them with absolute respect. Now, there is always one person who always come out and want to be the person that when this is over, that person can boast to them superiors that, boy, yeah man, I me do it man, I me run them where I me do something like that. So there was this one security and him come out to make me know that I can't stay up on the step. And I said to him, say, listen to me, don't do that this morning. I am staying on the step. There's nothing you can do about me standing on the step. And him said, you can't stand on the step. I step it, I took it down a little notch. Because our biggest and our next security was there. I said, I want you to listen to me very carefully, Mr. Security, sir. This is where I'm going to stand. I am not moving. And you have a decision to make if you're going to quarrel with me about it, or you're going to just go back go sit down on your desk or something. And he took that as to be his cue, and he left us alone. And I stood on the step. Because I wasn't going to go anywhere. I'm going to stand on the step. The step is a power play. The step, everything is a power play. So, some things are a power play. And so, I took up my position on the step. So I wasn't going to move off of the step. Just for that. So those are the few things that transpired in that. Nobody came out and rushed us and quarreled with us or beat us down or anything like that. We were basically left alone. There was a few surprises that the passerbys, a large group of people, large groups of people gathered from time to time. The entire staff of the Ministry of Tourism, I think, came out at one point, and everybody was videoing. Staff and workers and other places from various other buildings also came out, and everybody was videoing. There were small groups of people to the right, small groups of people to the left, everybody videoing. And the most amazing thing that took place was, for about 3 or 4 times, a portion of young people, young working adults, would stop and video and take pictures and actually ask us about what we are saying, and ask for clarification about what we are saying, and ask for explanation. One security guy asked me to explain to him, and I did. And they asked for these things because they want to know. And there you go. That was also a power play. Because once you don't have all that noise and excitement in the thousands and the hundreds and everybody shouting at the top of their lungs, you will have people that will ask you a question, and then you get an opportunity to explain to the pedestrian, to the Jamaican people who are passing by, what you are doing, what you are saying, and why. And that is another power play in terms of how we organize it to make sure. It was an organized thing. It was organized chaos. Believe me. And sometimes the first game plan has to be organized chaos, and then you move forward after that. So there was that, and that was the most amazing thing about it. And I was pleased with the whole operation in terms of I knew that people would stop by and people would hear our words and people would want clarification. I knew that people would ask us questions about some of the things we were saying. Like when we said that the Integrity Commission has the ultimate, absolute, unchecked power to ensure that there's no corruption in the public sector, government and government bodies and government appointed bodies and stuff like that. They also have the power to have everybody declare their earnings, their money. And I was explaining to a group of young ladies. They have them declaring them houses, them cars, them land, them underwear bill, them food bill, them how much them pay the gardener, how much them pay the garbage man. Them have to declare it. It's part of the process. It's part of the law that was written by Mark Golding for public servants to do that. And all of that is expected of our politicians and our in the parliament, the senators and the members of parliament, which adds up to 84 people. And all of that is expected of them, and they have to do that. The problem with that, as I was explaining to the young ladies, is that the Integrity Commission does not have to do that. There's nobody in the Integrity Commission that makes up the body, and probably those that work within it either, that have to do that. None of them have to declare anything. So we don't know how much money them thief. We don't know how much bribe them take. We don't know who give them money. We don't know who buy them car. We don't know who pay for house. We don't know who pay mortgage for house. We don't know who buy bicycle for somebody's child birthday. We don't know. Because they don't have to do the things that they are asking our politicians to do. Which makes our politicians less corrupt than they are. Which makes them the ultimate, absolute, corrupt body of people. And them policing people about corruption. Now, when you finish explaining that to young people, you ask them, do you think that's fair? Do you think we should have a body made up of people operating within this body that the parliament passed a law for? Because the parliament passed a law. Do you think we should have this body, police in the parliament, asking the parliament to declare their income, asking every member of parliament and senator and councillor and mayor, the commissioner of police, asking them, declare your income. You earn $10 a month. Please tell us where you get this 20 in your bank account, where you get that 15 in your piggy bank, who buy that phone for you, where you get that car. That car costs 10 million. They want our parliamentarians and our and public servants to declare that. Yet, they don't have to. They don't have to. The law written by Mark Golding exempt them from declaring their money and their assets. And when the young people them hear that, them say that's not fair. That's not fair. If you have a police, the politicians, you must be above board. So now we are in a position where their absolute unchecked power, where the devil lived, has now rendered them into the public, rendered them basically corrupt people, naked, rendered them naked, that we can now see who they are. So we'd like to know. We'd like to know how much money Greg Christie get for him salary. We'd like to see how him spend it. We'd like to see if him have house and where him buy it. We'd like to see if him have car and who give him and where him buy it and how much other money him have. We'd like to see if him went on somebody's boat for vacation. We want to see if somebody gave him a flight on a private jet. We want to see who give them a money for them to rule in their favor, or give them a money to attack the Prime Minister. Because it's now boiling down to that. As a result of they being unchecked with all that power, it now boils down to the fact that it looked like somebody that paid them to bring down the Prime Minister. So who wants those declarations? And them do have to declare nothing. But lest we forget that this law, though written by Mark Golding, was signed off on by all the parliamentarians. Because they never had the courage to fight it. And they never had the courage to say this is this not right. Something about this that is imbalanced. There's something imbalanced about this, where you're asking some people to police us, but nobody not policing them. And then to add insult to injury, Justice Panton went into Parliament, and they love to tell the parliamentarians, well, you guys write the law. It's you write the law. And they say, not to say to them, listen, we need to sit down and change this and fix this. They said it to ridicule them. To basically say, we're not idiot. And that's why we're having by the short and curlies. Because we're not idiot. That's basically what they say when they shout out, it's you write the law. It's you write the law. The parliament write the law. They weren't saying specifically that is Mark Golding write it. Because they know the parliament passed the law. It is written by Mark Golding, yes, but it was passed by the entire parliament. So here you are, with parliamentarians having to declare their salary, and every $10 that them have apart from them salary, them have to declare who buy them half a dozen Hanes underwear, or who buy them that fancy steering wheel for them car. And yet, we don't know how much bribery going on in the IC and how much money Mark Golding make reach them for them to attack the Prime Minister and put the Prime Minister under pressure to make the path easier for Mark Golding to become Prime Minister. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why the noise never needed this morning. Because those things would have got lost in the noise. And the amount of people that gathered and stood across the road on Knutsford Boulevard this morning and heard that will multiply tomorrow and multiply the next day and multiply the next day and the next day. It will continue to multiply until it becomes a talking point where the Jamaican people can say, but we never know, so the IC want everybody declaration, but them now declare nothing. Nobody know nothing about for them money and for them land and for them car and for them house of foreign and how which private jet them have fly. But nobody know how much money Mark Golding pay which one of them to go after the Prime Minister. Nobody know say run when name Kevin Stevenson is a member of a lodge. And him in a lodge meet that talk about him going to be the Prime Minister's worst nightmare. And then somebody in the lodge go tell Bunting, and then Bunting mention it to some other people, and suddenly everybody hears a Kevin Stevenson say him going to be the Prime Minister's biggest nightmare. Why? Why? Because they gave him power that is unchecked. Power that is absolute. And nobody can say nothing to him. The second thing that makes them so corrupt is this, the simplest of things. If they are so mighty and pristine and pure that the Governor General and the Prime Minister and the leader of the opposition agreed to have them be the people on the IC, be the IC board, if they are so wonderfully angelic and honest and decent and pure, why then would these educated men and women, who some people believe to be angelic and pure, why then, when they recognize the flaw in that law, where the parliamentarians are obligated by that law to present their filings and declarations, but they are not, and they never recognize that flaw and say to themselves, ladies and gentlemen, in order to make this commission effective, we ourselves have to stand tall. And the only way to do that is to develop a code of ethics under which we will operate. And we will develop this code of ethics and we will take it to the parliament and let them weigh in on it. And then we will operate within this code of ethics. Why then did they not do that? When they saw the absolute unchecked power that they have, why did these educated, highly educated some, Kevin Stevenson spend his entire life getting paper, just racking up paper. Him rack up paper like how we save buckle, Him rack up paper. If we made him do a course, so him have a whole heap of paper. Him probably run out of wall space now for all kind of certificate for all kinds of things. Why is it that, having come to the realization that this is an unjust law, that is lopsided and designed to target particularly the parliamentarians, because there's a general feeling that our politicians are corrupt, and thief, not corrupt, but them thief, which we all agree that the whole of them thief. But them are our thief. And if anybody to punish them for being thief, it has to be us. It has to be the voters. The voters can say, you to thief too much, we never want you again, we're going to try that man because him never saw thief. It's the voters who only can make that decision, not the Integrity Commission, because they did not create a simple little thing that would help them police themselves. And then now we wouldn't be able to chat to them, because they would have developed that code of ethics, code of not conduct but a code of ethics under which they could operate. That code of ethics could say, we too will present our declarations. That's one part of it. We will ask the executive body of the IC to develop a code of ethics, and we will operate within that code of ethics, which means that we too will make our declarations. We will submit those declarations to the Ministry of Finance, which they should really submit to the Auditor General, but she and the committee, which is also ridiculous. But Mark Golding doing, want to make sure that there's nobody there to check these people. When Mark Golding put the Auditor General as a permanent member of this commission, it is designed to ensure that there's nobody to check the unchecked absolute power that he just gave these men and women. That is what it was designed for. And they never thought that they could develop their own ethics, work ethics, and an understanding, a memorandum of understanding, so to speak, to say that, all right, since we are holding them accountable, let us hold ourselves accountable. Let's give the country the vast understanding I need to have. Let's produce this thing to the country. Let's let the country look at it and say, yes, we are pleased, because we have men and women that make up an integrity body that we want. We do need to have one, but we also have these men and women who not only holding the other people them to account, but holding themselves to account. And these are things that we needed to be made this morning, to be loud and clear on the steps of the IC building. And I'm sure Greg Christie was somewhere peeping and listening. I'm sure there was somebody recording too. I saw you, sir. Yes, sir. That thick gentleman there in the this ridiculous shoes. But I saw you quietly recording. I suspect it's Greg Christie sent you, but I didn't want to bust your cover because you need to record things. So we need people to hear that, and people did hear it. Lots of people heard it. There was no 3,000 people making noise. There was a steady flow of 5 people and 10 people and 15 people, and them 15 are gone and 15 more come back, and that 15 gone and 10 more come back, and that 10 left and 5 more come, and that 5. Within that hour, hundreds of people passed, stopped, took note, and they did because there was no noise. There was no ray. Nobody not tell nobody if you go ray. Nobody not tell nobody if you go take. Nobody never come with no knife, no stick. Nobody no want lick down nobody want burn down nowhere, nobody no want beat nobody. We just want the public to hear what the IC is. Corrupt. That's all. We want to start that process in educating the public to understand that the IC is a corrupt body with unchecked and absolute power, which they have unleashed on the citizenry, particularly our parliamentarians, whom we have elected. The third thing, or is it the second, that I wanted to get to the ears of people in the surrounding areas of New Kings. People will ask them, you know. People will ask them. People will ask people who they know working there. So where them people that talk about them, people will ask them. But the lady said that who do not submit no declaration. So that makes much nice for the Prime Minister no declaration and who not submitting none either. Oh, we don't understand that. Or who makes much nice for the Prime Minister declaration and who not submitting none. Because, I mean, nobody can see how much care, how much bribery, how much bribe you get. Nobody can see that. So, you know, they're going to ask them. People going to ask them. 1 or 2 people will ask them about it. But the second thing was, Justice Beswick, is using that unchecked and absolute power to one-up the Parliament, and particularly Minister Bartlett and Senator Johnson Smith. And Justice Beswick believed that because she was a judge and she came from the High Court, she knew more than everybody else, or she higher than everybody else, and she bigger and better than everybody else. And that unchecked power that they have, that was given to them by Mark Golding, allowed her to believe in her mind that she have under no obligation, none at all, to respond to the Parliament when they request of her of anything. She don't believe that she could. She should. She don't believe that she have that nonchalant air about her where she is saying, I don't have to tell you now, you need cogent evidence. Now that she has gotten 15 pages of cogent evidence, because she's the one that asked for cogent evidence. Mr. Bartlett and Senator Johnson Smith did not provide her with any cogent evidence. We took it upon ourselves and provided her with that cogent evidence, 15 pages of it. Am I to believe, as a citizen, as I should believe, that I presented this cogent evidence to the esteemed justice, and that she would look into that cogent evidence and then quietly say to Minister Bartlett, who is the leader of government business in the House, I'm going to look into this request that you have made. I'm going to get your thing. I only do have to tell we. And even if we know, I will not be the one to come out here, come bawl it out that Justice Beswick looked into Minister Bartlett's request. I would not do that. I would not. But if we make Justice Beswick understand that the power that she has was given to her by the Parliament. The Parliament is made up of lawmakers, and those lawmakers are the very said politicians who are thieves. It is laughable, but that is how it is. And she and Greg Christie and the rest of them believe that they have no obligation to do an argument with these thieves, forgetting, of course, that these thieves are the politicians, turned parliamentarians, turned lawmakers. And the only power in this country, in terms of law, breaking, removing them and putting back one in place or making new ones, belong to these 63 thieves. And of course, she think herself above them because them a thief. And she think that she don't owe them no obligation. And had we gone with a crowd this morning, that message wouldn't get out either, effectively as I wanted to, on the steps of the IC. You cannot, Justice Beswick. And this is not going to end until she gets it in her head. This is not going to end. There are going to be other layers that is going to rock the IC. That's all I can say to you. There are going to be other layers that are going to rock the IC and bring it down to its knees unless Justice Beswick recognizes. We're not asking Justice Beswick to bow to the pressure from us, God knows, no. God, not at all. Not at all. I don't want to bow, Justice Beswick, bow to no pressure of anything. As I said, if that should be done, I would say absolutely nothing. But then you don't know me enough to know that I would not. And you do have to tell us. Mr. Bartlett do have to tell us. We need to get an... Well, Mr. Bartlett will have to let the Parliament know or something. And somebody would have to let somebody know. But we wouldn't be gloating about it. I certainly wouldn't be gloating about it. It would not be something to gloat about. It would be something to breathe a sigh of relief and say, okay, there we go. The system that we have, this is how it works. Because that system is supposed to build a connection between those who policing those and those who policing thieves and the thieves who them policing, whatever it goes, however it goes. It's supposed to build connections and bridges for both of them. Build a bridge between the Parliament and the IC, but the Parliament want there to be no bridge because them constantly want to be on a witch hunt where them can go out and give information to particular people to go out and shout, illicit six, illicit six. So we want Justice Beswick to start building a bridge and create a connection of understanding work-related connections that recognizes her responsibility and that of the Parliament, of which Mr. Bartlett is the leader of government business and Mrs. Johnson Smith is the leader of the Senate. And she have to make that move at some point, because this is not going to stop until she does. Because our parliamentarians are timid. In other words, they're afraid of them shadow. They're not going to cow down these people, and maybe they should not. They're not going to beat them down, and I'm not saying that they should, but them have to grow some bars and also stand up for themselves and the people that elected them by being forceful but respectful, and by being forceful but explaining it to the country. Want to see how easy it is when you explain things to the country? Huh? Whenever you see how easy it is, we're telling them from the beginning, just explain things to the country and the people will understand. Always. It works every time. Once the people have information and you, the parliamentarians, explaining that information to them, they will digest it. And they will pick the sense out of the nonsense and they will accept or reject. Because the people are not stupid. So, that was the intent of the protest Thursday morning. And I wanted to just share that with you, for those of you who think that we should have said it and carried a few more people with us and all of that. No disrespect to you. We are absolutely certain you would have been absolutely wonderful and effective had you been told and had you come. But that was not, Thursday morning was not the day for that. Not the day for that. Thursday morning was the Bin Laden move. You get 2 helicopters and send in few little men and go get the man and call it a day and go back home and catch supper. And that is what we try to execute in a chaotic kind of way Thursday morning. And so that's it. We'll talk more about it on this new channel and new things that Natalie and Michelle and I will be on Sunday. I'm sure I hope you all join us then. Thank you very much. I never intended for this to be 40 minutes. I intended to be around 30 minutes. So thank you all very much for listening to me. God bless you all. Stay safe, everybody, and please do keep your children safe.